Paul wrote the believers, the assembly of called out ones in Thessalonica, and said, quench not the spirit and despise not prophesying. In 1 Corinthians 14, the Apostle Paul says, concluding after he said all that he says, don't despise prophesying and don't forbid speaking in tongues. In fact, he said, I thank my God that I speak in tongues more than all of you. I mean, we've got to understand it's like he said, how is it that he who speaks in a tongue speaks mysteries? For no man understands him. Our spirit, our inner man is edified, but our understanding is unfruitful. But it's important that our inner man, our spirit, be built up and strengthened. And see, this is the only point that Paul is making, is that everything be done decently in order, and not everyone just speaking in tongues, so that when someone of the unlearned comes into the building, they don't think you're crazy. But let everything be done decently in order. But everything, people don't listen to the wisdom that Paul wrote by the Spirit of God at the commandment of the Lord Jesus. They just follow their own. I mean, and a lot of people, aren't even born of the Spirit of God. They either believe that they don't have to be water baptized, or they believe in some Trinity that doesn't exist. Because as Paul wrote Timothy in 1 Timothy 2:5, there's one God and there's one mediator between God and man. And Jesus, when John testifies concerning Jesus' words in his gospel account in chapter 17, verse 3, he says, and this is life eternal, that they might know you, the one true God, and Jesus, whom you sent. I mean, we got to understand the truth, and rightly dividing the word of truth. Because rightly dividing the word of truth isn't saying that Jesus was God. I mean, this goes to what John in 1 John chapter 4, verse 1 and 2, when he's talking about not believing every spirit, but trying the spirits whether they be of God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. Hereby we know the spirit of error and the spirit which is of God. Every spirit that doesn't confess that Jesus came in the flesh is not of God. So if you're confessing that Jesus was God and he wasn't